Morgan Stanley is cutting roles. Goldman is firing VPs. You read the headlines and think the door to finance is slammed shut. But what if I told you the chaos is actually the side door you've been waiting for? If you're panic applying, your resume probably looks like trash. Stop it. Download our free resume template in the description below. It's the exact format that got me past filters when the market was falling apart. I vividly remember sitting on a Zoom call 1 week before my internship at JP Morgan was about to end. I had spent the summer living the dream, working in wealth management in New York City, non-target kid, making it big. I had done the work and I assumed the full-time offer was in the bag, but it seems the world had other plans. This was summer of 2023. Silicon Valley Bank failed. First Republic Bank failed, and their wealth management arm was acquired by JP Morgan. Interest rates were skyrocketing, and the landscape for hiring was super uncertain. They told us that our full-time program was being axed due to restructuring. No full-time offers. I went from I've made it to unemployed in just about 15 minutes. If you read the headlines this year, with all the big banks cutting jobs, you probably feel exactly how I felt on that call. You think the door is closed, but I'm here to tell you that chaos is actually a ladder. I graduated without that return offer, but I still landed a senior associate role at a major investment firm that required 3 to 5 years of experience in the job description. Here is how you beat the layoffs. The headlines might be scary, but I think they're a little misleading. You're probably thinking, why would a bank hire me if they're firing VPs? But here's the reality of the layoff cycle. Banks are businesses at the end of the day. When revenue drops, they have to cut costs, but they usually cut the fat. Middle management, bloated salaries, or underperforming senior staff. They rarely cut the muscle, who is the people who actually do the grunt work. That is you. You are the muscle. You are cheap, you are hungry, and you're willing to put in the extra hours. When I lost that potential for a JP Morgan return offer, I realized it wasn't because I wasn't good enough. It was because the structure of the bank was changing. They didn't need more wealth advisors. They needed execution. In your networking emails, stop sounding desperate. Position yourself as the cost-effective solution. You are the discount labor that keeps the whole engine running while they're trimming expensive parts. Another thing to note for internship and early career roles in particular is that there's typically a budget set aside for that year for these programs because they're lower cost and crucial for maintaining a healthy pipeline of talent at these banks. When the job market freezes, your network is your only heat source. During a downturn, the job boards are the first thing to die. HR is swamped, or the roles are frozen. If you are just hitting easy apply on LinkedIn, you are wasting your time. I got my full-time role that I mentioned earlier after graduating without a job lined up, and I didn't find it on LinkedIn. Here's the chain of events. The faculty advisor, as student org I was a part of, knew I was looking. She advised a different organization where a student had interned at BNY the prior summer. That student's internship manager had an opening. The student told the advisor told me. I heard about that job through the grapevine. I would have never known it existed otherwise. In a bad market, industry estimates show that nearly 80% of roles never even hit the job boards. They're either filled internally or through referrals before HR even writes the job description. You need to be in the DMs, on coffee chats, asking, who is hiring on your team? Not, can I have a job? Now, the final and maybe even the most important thing to keep in mind here is that rejection is not a stop sign. It's just data. And you might be thinking, how do I keep going when I just keep getting ghosted or rejected? Trust me, I've been there. Between losing the JPM offer and landing in my current role, I ate dirt. I sent tons of cold messages to local RIAs and just professionals in the area. I got ghosted more times than I could count. I even had one firm cancel the rest of my super day in between calls with their team. And they told me they just went with someone who had more technical experience than I did. Getting the rest of a super day canceled during the super day was a new one for me, but I developed a kind of delusional confidence. The reason I knew I was destined to succeed is because I put my all into the things that I could control. I treated every single coffee chat like a high-stakes interview. I showed up well-prepared, well-dressed, friendly with a smile on my face, able to share a couple laughs. I refined my story, my pitch, and my market knowledge until I was undeniable. When I interviewed for my current role, the job description said, requires 3 to 5 years of experience. I had 0 full-time experience, but because I had practiced so much in those failed networking chats, those failed interviews prior, I went 5 rounds meeting with folks like the head of distribution, the chief operating officer, and the chief investment officer of our business. And I got the offer. The market didn't want to hire me. I made them hire me. If you want the kind of delusional confidence that gets you hired even when the job description says you're underqualified, book a call with us in the description below. Or if you're not ready for that, check out this video next on how to network when no one's hiring. It breaks down the exact scripts that I used. Let's cook. See you over there.